So good morning. What a lot of fun readings, right? And my sermons don't always have a title, but sometimes a title just jumps out and shouts, "Here I am." And every time that happens, I'm reminded of Ben Baldus. Some of you will remember that he was our long-term interim pastor of the ELCA variety. And one of the perks of our agreement with the Evangelical Lutheran Church of America is the joy of being able to share clergy between our churches. Pastor Ben truly enjoyed being with the Episcopalians and fully enjoyed being a Lutheran, calling himself a Lutherpalian every Sunday, and most Sundays would start his sermon with the phrase, "If we posted sermon titles on the sideboard out front, this one would be called whatever." So today, I channeled the memory of the late and treasured Ben Baldus by starting my sermon with, "If we posted sermon titles on the signboard out front, this one would be called Beloved but Obstinate." Why? Well, we heard all the readings, our collect for the day, the psalm, the music. Each movement of our liturgical service this morning flows in and out of the reminders that we are beloved community and so very stubborn. You heard the wisdom from the writers of the Proverbs say, "Whoever sows injustice will reap calamity, and the rod of anger will fail. Those who are generous are blessed, for they share their bread with the poor." And don't we do that every single day of our life? We just walk right out there sharing our stuff, being happy to give, looking that homeless person in the eye, saying, "Here, have this, have more." I don't. I know I don't. It's because I'm stubborn. Because I want better for them, I give nothing of myself. I don't think that's what Proverbs had in mind. I don't think that's what Jesus has in mind. And so when we heard James say, "Has not God chosen the poor in the world to be rich in faith and to be heirs of the kingdom that he has promised to those who love him? But you have dishonored the poor." I know, Jesus, stop. I know. But is that not our baptismal covenant? To respect the dignity of every human being? Animal person that I am, to respect the dignity of every being, of every bit of creation? We wear masks because the air we breathe is contaminated. And some people don't even do that. It is our covenant with God to respect the dignity of the other person, to care what happens to them. Mark's recollection of what Jesus said was, Jesus said to her, "Let the children be fed first. It's not fair to take the children's food and throw it to the dogs." An insult, terrible insult. But she answered him, stubborn, "Sir, even the dogs under the table eat the children's crumbs. Even that little bit is all we need." Sometimes stubborn is good. She was tenacious. It's another word for obstinate. How do you use your God-given gift to be stubborn? She used it to make sure that her child was free of a demon. And Mark, who loves a sandwich, puts those two stories together in case one doesn't make sense, and so we don't lose sight of the point. She was not deaf to her child's needs, and friends brought a deaf man because they knew Jesus was something special. And immediately, his ears were opened. His tongue was released. He spoke plainly. And Jesus ordered them to tell no one. But the more he ordered them, the more zealously they proclaimed it. The more stubbornly they proclaimed it. It wasn't that long ago. We had to call his mom because we thought this guy was crazy. But we've learned something about Jesus. We've learned he has power that is bigger and stronger than anything we've ever seen before. Oh, but boy, do we hold on to our own way of doing things. We're stubborn. We want Jesus to be the way we want Jesus to be. And Jesus is sitting there every time saying, but this is who I am. Can you handle that? Can you deal with that? During communion, you'll hear Mother Ann say, but we turned against you and betrayed your trust. We turned against one another. Have mercy, Lord, for we are sinners in your sight. Again and again, you called us to return. Again and again, because we're obstinate, beloved, but so stubborn. I know that there are a lot of words in the Episcopal Church. I know there are a lot of words in our liturgy. They're there for a reason. I remember hearing one time that any name that's mentioned in the Bible is there for a reason. So this is a woman and a daughter who have no name, but their story is still important. Again and again, God calls us to return. And during the Lord's Prayer, you'll hear yourself say, lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. I want us to remember those words and follow those words. Those are the words Jesus taught us because they are important. When we lean into those words and we live those words, we find Jesus stronger and more powerful than we know. So before you leave this building, you'll hear your deacon say, you'll hear your deacon implore you to go forth in the name of Christ. Not go in your own name, even though it's a great name. Not go in the name of Ben Baldus, even though that was a great name. Not even go in the name of Trinity Episcopal Church of Marshall, Michigan, even though that's a great name. But go forth in the name of Christ, who holds us as beloved and seeks daily to release us of our stubbornness. Amen.